required no correction, no redirection. This was our insurrection. We became a sound barrier barring a broken system from entering by lifting our voices and singing joyful noises. We were strong enough to break down walls telling us that we ain't good enough.
Welcome to Real Life Revised. We just found out that we will be here every month on the second Sunday at 4 p.m. Thank you, Indiana Humanities. Thank you, Butler MFA, who bought this food. And thank you so much to WQRT for putting us on the airwaves. My name is Sam Ferrante. Today we have 5 features. We are going to have Auboni, Ebony Chappel, Nasreen Khan, Ariana Beedie, and we are going to have Januarie York, which is a lot of people. We are also going to have 5 open micers tonight. And if you are listening to us, you could be on our next open mic. The thing that brings all these people together is writing. It's revising. It's living a life, having a perspective. The people that we're going to hear from today, I saw someone with an instrument. Heck yeah. That is also a perspective. It is so good to have you. Everybody who gets on this mic today, and this is important, has 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, you will hear the bell. That is not a warning bell. That is, it is time. So wrap it up. This is the start of a conversation up here, not the end of a conversation. Bring the work that's inside you right now, and then we want to talk to you about it after. That's why the program's only an hour and we got all this food. And also, I try to, in introing people, do their book and art recs, because we're a product of what we're engaging with and what we're consuming. So if you like what you're hearing up here from a person, go engage with what they recommend. So our first very brave reader for the night is going to be Auboni, and they recommend if you felt like you had to break up with your faith because of being queer, please read Hijab Butch Blues before you do. It might change your mind. So everybody give it up for Auboni.
Hello, I am Auboni, and today I have this poem that was actually inspired by a Nightjar prompt. If you've never been to a Nightjar, I do recommend. And so yeah, it's called Inheritance. My grandma passed down a love for singing to me. Her gentle hum lulled babies to sleep. Her strong posture and bellowing songs echoed through the halls. This was the only way she knew how to fight back in a world that refused to love her. She didn't protest. She didn't organize. She didn't call up her local senator every day to raise a complaint about the same thing. She sang with a voice full and sweet. So I did too. Albeit not as good, but soon we became Aretha. We became Shaka, we became Corinne and Chrisette and Mary Mary and all the parts in the Mississippi Mass Choir. We required no correction, no redirection. This was our insurrection. We became a sound barrier barring a broken system from entering by lifting our voices and singing joyful noises. We were strong enough to break down walls telling us that we ain't good enough. Our smooth tunes made room for joy, which my mama passed down to me. Her cackling laugh echoed through the hallways, her eyes disappearing behind her high cheekbones, and I know I get that from her too. I guess our joy is just too big to allow anything else to get through, too contagious to be quarantined, too abundant to be contained. She made all this joy from molten pieces of a shattered heart, and art so resonant it births confidence in each reverberation, so delicate it cherishes each breath risen in its wake, and carrying the weight of 2 kids alone was more than enough reason to become jaded, but joy made her a jewel that she passed down to me as a form of renewal. Now my father, he gifted me pride, a burning ember that sits where my heart resides, and I haven't quite learned how to manage the flame. His past is a trip hazard, and he didn't want me falling in his place, so our lessons were limited to a scattered number of days, and yet I know each pulse delivers oxygen to a heart-shaped furnace warming my dignity. I keep it out the temperature danger zone, 'cause the tastiest food for thought may spoil rotten on overzealous ego, but we'd go tit for tat, sharpening our pride with the horns of rams. We demand strength and respect of ourselves. We might not have always jailed, 'cause he get on my nerves, but He's shown me that a humbled pride thrives from a cool mind, so I must be an oasis, a fertile spot for my unbound family love to grow, a pleasant and peaceful place, a refuge from a burning desert world that refuses to love my grandma. Strive to break my mama, and tried to keep me away from my daddy, so I'll gladly be an underground spring, a wealth of the gifts I've received, and appreciate this stock and this legacy. I will be free. Thanks.
For those of you who missed the Bernardo Wade conversation, he had this amazing moment where an audience member was like, "Where does your work come from?" And he was like, "I only come from two places. I come from my mother and my father." And I was like, the implications of that. Well, that was beautiful. Thank you, Auboni. All right, next up, off the open mic, we've got Steve Berta, who recommends Neapolitan novels. My last name is Ferrante, by Elena Ferrante. So Steve Berta.
This is a piece of nonfiction that I wrote, When the Smallmouth Strike. Dave, the least athletic among us, had squinted at the world through thick glasses, his tiny eyes lost in a swirl of white reflections. And now his eyes were closed, his glasses gone. You had to look hard to realize it was him. The pastor asked if anyone wanted to say a few words, and I shifted in my seat. Dave always called me a show-off. When we joked around, his punches packed an extra sting. Sometimes he just shook his head. Berta, it just didn't seem like I, who wasn't even family, should be the first one to tell a story. So I waited, and no one spoke. After the service, I felt like I'd failed him and decided to approach his sister. "I'd like to share a story about Dave," I told her. All of us old friends used to go fishing every year. One summer, we were canoeing on the AuSable River up in northern Michigan. When we stopped for lunch, we set the cooler on the grass and laid a sandwich fixings on top of the cooler. And when I was done making the sandwich, Randy, another old buddy, shouted, "Oh man, Steve, you spilled mustard all over my new shirt." I didn't think I'd spilled any mustard, but there it was, a huge yellow splotch on a white polo shirt in the grass beside the cooler. Phil and Dave held their breath. We all knew how Randy could be. Back in high school, we called him Carpi, joking that he never paid a dime for anything. And true to form, Randy started in. He just bought that shirt, he said. It cost him $37.50. Now it was ruined. That stain would never come out. You should be more careful, Steve. You're never careful, never. I apologized, told him I'd buy him a new shirt, but he was locked in. For 2 days we floated past spruce forests, herons stalked minnows among the wild irises, otters played in the ripples, hawks circled, and Randy went on and on. On the last night, we stood around the campfire, tired and half drunk, a lone bullfrog playing banjo in the distance, the sky thick with stars. "Well, gentlemen," Phil said, "we're getting old. We may not have many of these trips left in us." For more than a minute, everyone just stared at the fire. Then, as if out of some private hell, Dave shouted, "Damn it, Randy, I can't stand it anymore." We all looked at him puzzled. "I was the one who spilled the mustard on your shirt," Dave said. "I thought it'd be funny to let Steve take the blame, but you couldn't let it rest, could you?" Dave's sister smiled. "It sounds just like Dave," she said. Then her eyes glossed over, and I knew why her husband loved her. I was about to tell her how badly I'd missed Dave, but it occurred to me that his eyes must have been as big as hers, as alive with feeling beneath the watery reflections that always hid them from us. And I couldn't get it out. It was kind of like a thing that happens on the river. When a smallmouth takes the bait and starts to fight, The line tightens and the pole bends, then sends vibrations up your hand and up your arm into your jaw. You don't just feel it, it makes a sound. Transmitted through your bones from another dimension. And I could almost hear the doctor telling Dave his cancer was gone.
As a poet, I'm always like, essayists, you're going to take space on the mic with the story. And that was so beautiful. It was so funny, so well timed. Thank you, Steve. And now, her name is Ebony Chappel, and she has something very important to say. She wants you to check out the incredible reporting from Mirror Indy at mirrorindy.org. Everything from government, housing, neighborhood-specific news, and arts and culture coverage is brought to you in a cool, accessible format, and I will say it is my premier news in the city as well. Please help me welcome Ebony Chappel.
Thank you again for the invitation. Thank you to each and every one of you for braving the cold, ice, the snow. I have lived here my entire life and am still not used to it. I cannot stand the cold. I like looking at the snow when it's freshly come down from the sky, and other than that, I'm not interested. But very happy to be here today otherwise. So this is a short story that I wrote about something funny that happened to me. The story actually starts with a song. I'm going to sing just one line of the song. All right, stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. Normally, when you hear this song in a fun club setting, it's totally welcome. Also, rest in peace to Shock G. But when you're standing in line at a coffee shop and some random dude is rapping it aloud directly to you, not so much. Here's what happened. I was in line grabbing a drink for my coworker and I, who was visiting from out of town. We were having a meeting at Tinker, and though the details of the meeting are hazy at this point, I'm sure it was important. Probably not. Anywho, I'm standing there, and here's this dude singing the damn Humpty Dance. It's a tiny space, and I can't ignore him, even if I tried. And me not wanting to be rude, I join in. So at this point, it's both of us rapping to each other and dancing. My coworker was just kind of standing there, grinning to keep the friendly vibe going, but also giving me eyes. So there we are, two awkwardly rapping strangers, one trying her damnedest to make the most of a very strange situation, and the other hell-bent on making anyone in his orbit join this impromptu party. He asked me to get him something to drink. I obliged to try and put a little nice bow on our interaction. Little did I know, this would turn into my own personal version of If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. If you guys know that story, it's a story of somebody giving a mouse a cookie, and then the mouse wants a blanket, and it wants a cup of milk, and it wants more and more and more. In my case, if you give a random dude at the coffee shop a drink, he's going to want a horribly overpriced coffee shop t-shirt, and maybe he'll also want to borrow your property and never bring it back. More on that part later. So I'm like, fine, dude, whatever. Whatever it takes to get you away from me so I can go on with my day. That was my thinking at the time. I had the meeting and it went well. I didn't think about the Humpty Dance much at all and was happy to put the whole thing in my rear view. That night, I went out with friends and enjoyed some drinks and some good company. And I got dropped off at home later that night, floating on a cloud. I was feeling so good. In fact, I walked in the crib and didn't realize my dear bicycle that I affectionately named Peacock was missing. Peacock, in all her blue, green, purple gradient glory, had been hanging out on my porch for at least a couple weeks with no issue. It wasn't until the next morning when I woke up and didn't see one of her wheels hanging outside my window that I realized Peacock was gone. I haven't had anything of mine stolen as an adult, so I just did what I thought made sense. I went online and filled out a police report, contacted insurance, and then hoped for the best. This is where the coffee shop and my missing Peacock come together. I opened my doorbell camera app and found video from the night before. The Humpty Dance dude, who I didn't know and who didn't know me, pops up on the screen. He walked right up on my porch and took my damn bike. Watching the video, I couldn't believe it. How, of all the people, of all the days? I sat for a while contemplating the cosmic reasoning for all this. What lesson does the universe want me to learn? I don't know, but I felt an inkling that if I went into my neighborhood gas station, I'd run into this bike snatching person. There's another word there that I'm not going to use. And have an opportunity to confront him myself and maybe get Peacock back. Sidebar, this is a bad idea. Do not take it upon yourself. This was my attempt at, I shouldn't have involved the police in this. This is a neighbor issue. Like, we could solve it as neighbors. Yeah, maybe go about that differently. In my case, I walked right up to him. He was there at the gas station, as I thought, and asked him if he remembered me from the day before at the coffee shop. He didn't. Long story short, months later, I got a call from the prosecutor's office about this police report, and they asked me what I wanted to do, if I wanted to press charges or do anything seriously. I told them I had no interest in doing that. But overall, learning about this man's past history, it made me think about people in my family who have had a history of substance abuse and different things like that, and how we all need redemption. That is the end of the story. If you want to know other details, come and grab me later. It was so lovely sharing time with you all. He has questions. Come get me later. Thank you, guys.
I'm really worried about Peacock. I want to hear details after. Our next reader is Tracy Mishkin. Her book and art recommendation is Lucky Penny by Mark Lilly. Oh, and Mark is a Butler MFA graduate, actually. All right, everybody, please welcome Tracy Mishkin.
Thank you, Sam. Mom poem. Sometimes the moon reminds me of my mom. There goes the moon, walking power lines in her pearly best above my mother's place in California. She doesn't strut like that here. The Indiana moon is storm-faced, serious, an elder stateswoman of the sky. Mom stains her hands harvesting walnuts, then dresses up, strolls like a princess of the night. She loves us because we tell good stories. Mom says California is just a phase, and she'll return to Indiana in a year or two. She just turned 86. I hope the cycle will hold true. Work poem. Rolling stop at ethical intersections. When I was 10, lying was wrong. And at 19, I didn't death wish every jackass who crossed my path. I returned the extra change at the hot dog stand. Now I eat greasy salad as a woman tells me her school is an island in the ghetto sea. She is talking about my neighbors. I say, nothing. The supermarket undercharges me. Who cares? Next time, let the baby cry. My boss tells me not to help the teacher pour the juice. Let the secretary stuff her own envelopes. Why not imagine that bitch ignoring the pain in her arm until she falls, alone, and the janitor who's known her 20 years, vacuuming around the body with long, unhurried motions, remembering to close the door when he is gone. Last year, more Americans looked up the word integrity than any other. These things we are losing, we want to understand them, know precisely what they mean. Now, I wrote this like 10 or 20 years ago, but you know that ending is relevant even when we've moved on to another word to look up. Current events poem. America, you make me nervous. You turn like a meat wheel full of teeth. A third of your people believe only Christians are truly American. I have considered jumping ship. I try to catch my breath, but you start up again, America. Pitching bricks from the overpass. The night will not stop burning. America, I'm sewing 20s into my dresses. America, take a good look at yourself. My father prays in the forest where his grandmother was shot. Thank you.
I wonder what that word is now. Because if it was integrity 10 to 20 years ago, I would be surprised if it was still integrity, but I wonder what it is. All right, our next reader is one of the first poets I met when I moved here 7 years ago over a martini, and Nasreen's work is incredible in a lot of mediums. So please help me welcome Nasreen Khan, whose book recommendation is Scattered All Over the Earth. Excellent. Scattered All Over the Earth. Welcome, Nasreen Khan.
It's been a really hard year, I think, for a lot of people. I've had a really hard year, but I'm having a really amazing life now. And I went dancing with my friends yesterday, and then I got up really early and took my son skiing. Now I'm here with all of you. One of the things that makes my life really amazing is my relationship with my neighborhood, Hawville. I'm not American. I'm not from Indiana. I also moved here 7 years ago. But Hawville has really become like spiritual geography for me. So this is a novella, parts of a novella, prose poem novella that I wrote called This is Dogtown, in which the fictional Dogtown holds the place of Hawville. This is Dogtown. Even though it's only a half-hour walk from the university over the river bridge, no one walks to Dogtown. Back in the 80s, they used to say that homicide was measured by the square foot here, and that on summer days without wind and without air conditioning, dealers broke up bricks on front porches, card tables. But now it's just a regular Midwest neighborhood with smallish, dirty little houses, and the occasional attempt at cheerfulness with string lights or a few aspirational and anemic tomato plants in the summer. Still, no one walks into Dogtown. Plenty of folks walking around Dogtown, though. It's the kind of place where mothers still walk their kids to school in all weather, not because it's nostalgic, but because cars and the gas they drink and the oil they need changed and the paperwork the police ask for if you get stopped, they all take money, and money is easier to find when he doesn't move in with the slightly sloppy white girl. At least she's nice to the kids he met at Vern's the other day, the one day you said you couldn't make lunch for him to take because the baby was up coughing all night, and why didn't he make his own damn lunch once in a while? Easier to find when the rent-to-own situation that seemed godsend at the time turns out to have bed bugs and they want $6,000 to heat up the whole shoebox hot enough to kill them all, and you'll have to stay in Mars Hill with Mama who smokes inside and yells at the kids for the whole 2 weeks it takes to heat the space up. Easier back when the Sunset Strip didn't charge stage rent, so even after birthing a couple babies, dancing a Saturday night shift, bought groceries for the month. You haven't kept in touch, but you saw one of the girls in the checkout line buying Neosporin the other week, and she talked vaguely about someone's cousin who cleans at the hospital. That's how come she can get all the needles and equipment for free, so she's really cheap. Who all the girls go to for injections in the face, lips, ass. Money's generally easier to find if you're somewhere that isn't Dogtown. This is a mix of two sections about dogs. Some people think that coyotes are the dog in Dogtown. Coyote here are big and laughing dogs. They keep their own hours. None of that slinking about strictly after dark. They come up from the river into Dogtown alleys at noon if it pleases them, to root around in any tall, wheelie trash cans left out too long and to eat kittens. Maybe that seems far-fetched to you, but it's undeniable that there are no stray cats in Dogtown, and it's not because the animal control lady in her size 24 khakis and sensible stride rights suddenly learned how to act right and quit nosing around in people's backyards. Someone I know had 9 of her backyard chickens killed by the same dogs. When she went to lock them up at night, she could see him sitting by the back gate laughing. First, he dug under the wire and took her big mama layer, the white Delaware hen who dropped fat, beautiful eggs. Next, he slashed the wire mesh. But after chicken number 3, she named him Daddy, after her own father and after the shaggy, petulant man her son called Daddy.
Bringing up our next reader for the day, it's going to be Ariana Beedie, whose book or art recommendation is to watch or rewatch, if you have already watched season 1 of Atlanta, and read any Octavia Butler book you can find, which is true. Please welcome Ariana Beedie.
I'm also going to plus anything Mirror Indie, at Mirror Indie everywhere. Real quick, I'm Ariana. I'm a mother. I'm a friend who struggles with texting back, a sister, a daughter, a creator, a journalist, a weightlifter, a fighter, a person with an impeccable music taste, a self-proclaimed outcast, a person with flaws, a real person with anger, sadness, folded into a perfect shape to hide when I want and when I don't want to, a heartbroken heartbreaker. When I began my poetry journey, I was a lone journalist looking for my people. My poems were about silly things like love and adulting, and these days my poems are about grief, loss, and shedding identities, and about removing the tape from my mouth and being honest, and about being free. A right to feel better, a right to feel something. It's a way to ease the pain, so here we go. This is called Running Away, because I'm an Aries and I have like 10,000 hobbies. When I run, I like to imagine my grandmother in her car, crocheting and cheering me on, listening to WTLC, laughing at her eccentric eldest granddaughter, shaking her head at my tattoos, but understanding my drive, fueling it. Instead, it's the wind that tells me she's here, carrying me to the next mile with every step. It's been 2 years since you've been gone. Feels like yesterday and ages ago at the same time. When I see a cardinal, a butterfly, or feel it in my gut, she's there. In my mind, still in her minivan, praying and willing over her little grandkids, who turned out all right by her work and by the grace of God. Call your grandmother if she's still living. I'd give so much to hear mine's voice again. I can't believe I'm up here emotional, y'all. Okay, last one. I wrote this while listening to the song I'm a Witness by Solange, like on repeat. It's the end of the day, a long one, of pouring, overflowing, of clearing space and doing it all over again. I step outside of myself, stroking my face in the mirror, retracing my steps on how we got here. When's the last time you felt like you were floating? Gliding backwards upstream, dancing through flower beds disguised as psychedelic patterns, weaving me in and out of time. I remember you as you were. I remember us as we used to be. Anyone else find it hard to keep up with time? I'm light years away from her, me, yet she's still here, hand in hand. How am I supposed to let go when the memories won't let me rest? I want to scream, I want to cry, I want to call you, I want to say so many things, so many things. Sitting in a smoky basement, midnight haircuts and tufts of hair falling to my shoulders, running free with you in spaces we're no longer allowed, creating, holding space, connecting. What year is it? I was supposed to let things go a long time ago. Why can't I move on? Me and her, she and I, who I was then and who I am now. Signals through a foggy mirror, but I can't make out the message. What am I supposed to learn from this? I remember when all we had was each other. I remember when I hated you. I remember. And now I seem to forget. Twins in a pea pod no more. People grow and I've been changed. A bright starshine came and eclipsed my world, smiling through the stale tears, standing up too quickly only to fall back down. In and out of dimensions, phases of myself with and without all of you. Time extends itself to me, so I try to forget until a chance meeting only for me to puke in front of my car. Remember driving fast through the cornfields? The only place we could feel free. Maybe it was just me. I imagine my life without these faces, these experiences, like phantom limbs. I reach for you, but it's like you were never there. Living in the cloud and half-baked memories. Driving down a long, foggy road so fast I didn't even see the fork pass, and suddenly I'm here. Arrived at a destination, but how did I get there? Didn't you draw the directions? Map quested into infinite routes, infinite destinations. Somehow I ended up here. Lost but found, fingers curled for a tender embrace, but it's me. Praying for an answer, asking God to ask grandmother for a sign. How are you still grieving the living? Fictitious parts of beings cut and pasted and remixed into memories. Do I miss reality or the version crafted in the absence of? I remember when all we had was each other. I remember when I hated you. I remember. Now I just seem to forget. Thank you.
I have not been here long enough to have a cornfields poem yet, but everybody who comes on this mic at some point will talk about corn. All right, I think we are about to get our first music act of the series. Marissa Dooley recommends Resistance, Resilience, and Radical Love by Regina Shan Stolzfus. Everybody please give it up for Marissa and her instrument.
So this instrument is a mandolin, and I will be singing a song about works in progress called Never Finished. Finished, I'm never finished, never polished, never good enough to go out in public and show the world exactly what I've got. Finished, I'm never finished, never polished, never good enough to go out in public and show the world exactly what I've got. I'm a remnant of something, but it's become myth. We've turned to legends. Even when we die, we won't end. You think you found me, so reach out and touch me. Whoa, there I go. I am really just a shadow. Halfway to completion, if we make it past deletion, we'll be so much closer to the deadline. Think ahead time. Yeah, we got minutes to spare, and man, here I thought that we were lost. And my head has been spinning, so I'm running round in circles, and you know I need the exercise. You've been running through my head, and I'm running out of breath. There ain't no running in the legs or thighs. Finished, never polished, never good enough to go out in public and show the world exactly what I've got. Finished, I'm never finished, never polished, never good enough to go out in public and show the world exactly what I've got. I'm not going for broke, no, I don't intend to pay. It's not called freeloading, 'cause I never said I'd stay. You think I'm dodgy, I just don't want to get caught, 'cause I look like I am working when really I'm not. They think I'm finished, I'm never finished, never polished, never good enough to go out in public and show the world exactly what I've got. Finished, never polished, never good enough to go out in public and show the world exactly what I've got. I've got my pants down, eyes closed, mind running in circles, and even I am not sure how the ending goes. Pants down, eyes closed, mind running in circles, and even I am not sure how the ending goes. How it goes. Even I am not sure. Even I am not sure. Even I am not sure how the ending goes. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, the show's over. Nobody's allowed to come up here without an instrument ever again. Also, I didn't do my recommendation, and that reminds me, everybody should listen to Rebecca Sugar, who is the creator of Steven Universe, and that was big Rebecca Sugar vibes. That was genuinely very surprising and incredible. Thank you so much for being here, Marissa Dooley. Our next poet, I'm going to introduce the way Elle Roberts introduced me to them, which is Elle is also a poet and writer in town. Elle introduced me to Januarie York as their personal poet laureate. The one-sentence book or art recommendation is The Wander Museum, Chicago. Please welcome Januarie York.
Yes, it's a museum in Chicago that it's like one of those interactive museums where it's a bunch of rooms and a bunch of stuff going on in all the rooms. I love those spaces. This doesn't have a title. I wrote it based off of something I heard on the series finale of Bel-Air. Will was worried about forgetting himself and forgetting who he had become in Bel-Air as he transitioned back to Philly. There are miles accumulating where paychecks used to frequent. Overdrafts are spreading cold winds like frozen pennies into my hands. I'm paying dues with master degree memories. Showing up as tears in Instacart apartment hallways with no elevator. I've lost pieces of me. Falling on unpaved driveways with cases of water in my hand. This is not what I racked up the debt for. Not why I kicked in every closed door and made my own stage in each room behind it. I worry about forgetting that version of me that had come to believe she could do anything. Speak life through poems, curate, write, publish, produce. I became the incarceration, help redream guru in her eyes. Her eyes are my eyes. We worry that I might not be able to hold her tight enough not to leave while I brave this extended valley walk with no shoes. I got the faith in tow. These mustard seeds in my pockets have a lock and will not be undone, but I feel one with nothing right now. I don't pray every day, but I don't wait until it's bad, and I give gratitude despite the sadness. Yet between the repeat sweatpants and dirty gym Air Max shoes, the unkept hair, the ashy skin to match, I can't find a reason for her to come outside. Where is my poetic princess? The me I became over 20 years of helping to drive home arts and culture, building, constructing, and reflecting my name. I am Januarie York, living the dream when not forcing it and chasing checks from orgs that have just one more form for me to fill out. Using my clout for good, or at least trying. Where are my high heels and dresses? Damn all this crying at traffic lights. Everything just got so damn quiet while I was still riding the track. Where are all the places I gather and all the people I love? Can they only love me if I fade to black? My makeup has lasted for over a year. I've gone virtually nowhere to make me smile, just to people's houses that didn't even pay me $1 per mile to drop off 300 worth of processed foods and pop. It's been a while since I last found frequency with my frequencies that need to be frequented. It's as if everything stopped. It's a ghost town since I lost my job. It's like I spent 2 years living in such grandiose purpose that I might spend 4 living backwards in poverty and lost focus, looking for proverbs to help me combat these metaphorical locusts. I stopped flying and been trying to hitch a ride somewhere for a year. I fear in the process I will lose sight of her toe tips. Our grips seem non-exist. I looked for her in the mirror. She showed up, blew me a kiss, and walked off. That's not what a reflection is supposed to do. What if I can't get back to her? What if I can't give her what she purposed for? She was purposed here. I felt purposed. Here and everywhere I went, all the learning journeys and teaching and traveling, realizations that the world is larger than my small city and the perspectives are as many as the ocean waves. I lived in my own renaissance, flying across the country just so Beyonce could confirm it for me. What if I can't hold on to my her through this part of the ride? What if this survival kills the stride in her walk? It's my walk too. She walked with such ownership. Now I walk like my slip is showing banana peel shit. I keep old work entries on my calendar so I remember I was here, impacting the lives I touched and shaking up the space I took up. But what if I've lost her in the forest? And what if I can't see the trees? What if this is Biggie? And what if it's all a dream, never meant for me? What if behind the writer's pseudonym is someone who has nowhere to go? I worry I was the imposter, unable to keep the growth close enough to stay warm in this cold season, and now I'm losing sight of who I've grown into. I keep looking around, trying to make sure she's still here. I feel her in my chest. It's like she's screaming from the inside of a water tank. I know, love. I'm trying. But what if I'm so busy worrying about losing her that I'm actually not trying at all? Thank you.
Pace. That was beautiful. Water tanks are another one that I think is very Midwestern image that shows up. Our last reader of the afternoon, almost tonight, is going to be Kandace with a K, who last time recommended Bell Hooks, which is always a good recommendation, and this time is recommending Homegirls and Hand Grenades by Sonia Sanchez, which is also a good recommendation. So please welcome Kandace with a K.
Hello, my name's Kandace. I spell my name with a K. My full name is Kandace Ture, but I go by Kandace with a K at open mics usually. So if there's time left, I'm going to end into haiku, but this first poem is called Someone Needs Who I'm Becoming. I didn't know I was allowed to settle. To settle into a life of my own choosing. I'm choosing the kind of life I want to settle into. I comb out the chaos and confusion that is tightly coiled in the strands of my past choices. I choose again. I choose differently. This new life feels unfamiliar, like waking up to lyrics I do not know, in a dialect I cannot speak, like taste buds aging to the sensitivity of strange flavors. And still, it's a careful carving out of new neural pathways in the brain. And still, I know where I be is home. I be inhabiting a new place of rest. I be rest. I be ritual. I be radiance. I be recovery. I be royalty, regulation, rejuvenation, release, release, release. I release myself into a bed of stillness. Unravel from the delicate threads of peace. I'm the quiet witness to the staircase of my liberation. I'm an emerging butterfly from the cocoon of religious conditioning. I'm the spear in the hands of the Dora Milaje. I'm the crown of an African queen mother. I am an African queen mother. So how come I didn't know I was allowed to settle into a life of my own choosing, to choose the kind of life I want to settle into? Because I know someone. I'm telling you, I know someone. Someone, did you hear me? I said someone. Somewhere needs who I'm becoming. Thank you. This haiku is called Cages. Children in cages, ice raids melt all hope, detain, displace, clipped wings. Children in cages, ice raids melt all hope, detain, displace, clipped wings. I belong to the ocean. Deeply held in her waves, my tears drown. I belong to the ocean. Deeply held in her waves, my tears drown. This is the last one. When I take my last breath, I hope the poetry of my life applauds. Thank you.
Real Life Revised is a reading series, and what that means is that folks who are writing about their life in some way, or writing about the world around them in some way, through poetry or essays or notes on their phone that come together into sort of a singular whole, come and share what they're working on with us. And everybody has 5 minutes. We choose 5 people ahead of time who are going to be our featured readers, and then we open up something called an open mic, which is where folks come in cold. We don't know who they are, but we know they've been working on something, and they have the same amount of time as our featured readers. So everybody gets 5 minutes to read something that in some way is living inside their bodies. It's some truth that they've got to share, or something they've noticed, something they've got to get out. And it can be absolutely anything, from poetry to essays to profiles to monologues. I can't thank all of you enough for being here in the cold. So thank you for being here. We'll see you next month. Please eat. We've got the house till 6. So.
This has been Real Life Revised, a series of readings with Indiana writers, produced by Sam Ferrante and John Strauss, in partnership with Indiana Humanities, the Butler MFA in Creative Writing, Butler's Booth Magazine, and WQRT Radio, part of the Garfield Park Creative Community from Big Car Collaborative.